Saturday at 1 o'clock, we have two teams that are both looking to bounce back from their first loss. Dartmouth at Durfee, both teams 2-1. And this is actually going to be, I've seen some Dartmouth Durfee games over the years that have been pretty one-sided. And I think that might not be the case this year.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have been surprised this year by Durfee. Ended up opening the season with a 2-0 record. They ended up beating a quality team in Taunton. And then this past week, they lost to Bishop Stang in a game that, really was a Matt Golden special. He had 3 rushing touchdowns.
A golden day?
Yes, the golden day. I think that was our exact headline.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, something like that.
You think I'd read the paper or something?
Yeah.
I know that.
And over 100 rushing yards. So they really didn't have an answer for Matt in that game. That was his first start of the year at quarterback after having the injury. And but Durfee can move the ball. They have a quarterback, Jaron Vieira, who completed 17 passes for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns.
A lot of yards for a high school quarterback.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. His favorite target was Colby Cabral. He had 10 catches for 210 yards.
So when was the last time a high school receiver had 10 catches in a game?
And it's funny because talking to Rick White last week previewing the Pontiac game, we were talking about, throwing the ball, and he said, it's really hard to throw the ball at the high school level. He's like, a lot of people don't realize how hard it is. And he said, my coach, when he was playing it back in the day, he said, he used to tell us when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. So it's really, and when you think about it, really, that is true. So, I know this past week, Dartmouth, they ended up starting Blaine Almeida at quarterback instead of Matt Boparlin, and I think most people think Blaine's got the strong arm, and he did have a pretty strong performance, but the only time he scored was on a rushing touchdown, and he was filling in for Matt because Matt had hurt his ankle, I guess, when they had the bye week. And Chris Martin ended up leading Dartmouth last week. He had over 100 rushing yards and he had 2 touchdowns, but there was a lot of penalties that Dartmouth had against Apponequet. They had a few turnovers. Blaine Almeida was picked off, I want to say, at least twice in that game. And they really just couldn't stop Apponequet's rushing attack. They were just kind of chipping away with some of the running backs, kind of going down the field. And then Troy Nanfeld got off to, on some sweeps to the left and to the right, and just his speed, they couldn't really catch him. So it was definitely a tough game for Dartmouth's defense. And, it should be a little challenging this week going up against, a passing team like Durfee. But I know Rick White said we don't have any easy games coming up. I think the following week is against New Bedford, and Barnstable's going to be on there, and Bridgewater Raynham's on there. So there's a lot of quality opponents coming up for Dartmouth. So it'll be important for them to get a win, Saturday at Durfee.
So if you are heading out to Fall River, or if you can't make it out to Fall River, follow along on Twitter at @SC_varsity. You can either read our tweets about the game, or you can send us yours if you're out there at SC_varsity.